Hey everyone, Lone Wolf Jet here, and before we get into the part of this, let's see what Rita says. Good night, everybody. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Kudos to anybody who gets that reference. Let's go ahead and get the rewards here. Um, hmm. Yeah, let's go ahead over here. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and get finish this up. All right. So when we last left off, they're going to the Sea of Quanta for reasons. I forgot about this right here. So let's go ahead and see. Let's go ahead and read it. A few days ago, with a few wrist twists, Solium threads reached out from the fair-haired man's sleeves. He used these strings to manipulate a puppet, in the exact way as manipulating the ironclad marionette. What? Puppet? As in the Heresher of Dominance? He injected his electronic neurons into the puppet like a Trojan program and calmly watched the Heresher from a distance. Yeah, Heresher Dominance. The 10th Heresher, Heresher Dominance. A collection of thousands of minds connected to a myriad of fragile puppets. As someone who also had a disturbed mind, he found a perfect victim. He casually watched on as it provoked one Heresher after another, as it was nearly destroyed by anti-entropy, and as it forced the duel between K423 and the other half of Saren. He was confident. He knew these. But he wasn't interested in their growing up stories. He needed to snatch the Heresher core, capable of crafting unique space before anyone did, and the opportunity came to him. The 10th Heresher was fighting K423. There was no way it realized the rat among his puppet army. Thus, at the very moment when the newborn Heresher Flame Scion swung the blade of conviction, he got his hands on the 10th Heresher's core. Ah, fuck. So who's got the core of the Heresher Dominance core? All warfare is based on deception. He saw no shame in this. Before the core's connection to the imaginary space was cut, he quickly examined the spatial power that didn't belong to the Heresher Void. And exactly then, he was dragged into a white void by an intangible force. He didn't expect this, but he wasn't afraid. 17 years ago, he had visited this place, and back then, he had adapted to any thinking pattern that's not human. Oh, this thing again. He remembered he came up with the question in a hurry. Before the question was formed and uttered, the answer had surged into his mind. It was so deep and profound that no brain could have kept it. After the moment, he did believe the one before him was an almighty God. A God won't mind any man's thoughts, just like a man won't mind any ant's thoughts. But that remained an unconfirmed assumption. It wasn't a precognition or truth. 17 years later, he had now grasped the priceless data from Project Feluca. He knew his existence. He knew this existence that dwelled in the void only had more knowledge than any human. Knowledge is, of course, a source of power, but knowledge itself isn't power yet. A tick looks just as tiny as an ant, but unlike an ant, it carries numerous viruses can make a human who sits at the top of the food chain suffer from hemorrhagic fever and beg for a quick death. So, in their second encounter, he could face the existence calmly. Here we meet again, after 17 years of Will of Honkai. Yes, I've come to a better understanding of you now. You can't change how the world works. You can't intervene directly. Your disciples, the Hereshers, they can't realize their full potential. If the imaginary tree behind you is an ocean, you're but a narrow strait. But of course, any strait can drown thousands of auto-apocalypses. Yes, this is what all apocalypse plans do. I'm grateful that you won't intervene. You won't even stop killing Kaslana? You two should be well acquainted. I see. That's something I won't be able to witness. Besides, I can never measure your pursuit with human standards. It's a pleasure. Okay, so basically Otto went and met with that same thing that he met with back during second eruption. Alright, so let's get back into this. Part of 3 or more members, no death, take more than 34 hits. Let's form a party. Yeah. Let's go with SP Teresa. By the way, I just recently made her triple S, so yeah, there's that. So she's one of my newest triple S Valkyrie. And that's a trial version of Durandal. It's a trial version of Daon Coda Durandal. Okay. I wonder what we're doing in the Theater of Dominance. I remember this all too well. Two contrasting figures made their way through the ruins of the theater side by side. One carried himself in a carefree manner, while the other had an air of earnest determination. One had seen 500 years of change. The other only had 10 years of memories. Two had little in common, but at the moment, they were the iconic figures of the Schicksal organization. Before Otto made use of an advisory council to deal with trivial day-to-day issues, while he used the time to carry out various kinds of secret research. But when the North American branch broke off to form the independent anti-entropy organization, which would become a rival of Schicksal, Otto simply kicked out the advisory council and used a more efficient way of maintaining stability. And it was then the Schicksal Valkyries, once a secret weapon, took center stage. From Squad Snowwolf of the Immortal Blades, one outstanding figure after another joined Schicksal, encouraging more girls to join the battle. I can only come you this far. The way onward is only open to those who have undergone fusion with extra dimensions. This is also where Nagumo's instructions ended. Do we not have any intel about what lies ahead? These spaces close to the imaginary tree are completely unexplored. Their current location is still unclear under the influence of the Sea of Quanta. If you go any further, you'll be completely within the realm of the imaginary tree. The only thing we've been able to establish through our calculations is that you'll be able to move around normally in that realm. I'm sorry that I cannot provide other useful intel for the grand finale of this experiment. It's okay. There's always uncertainty when doing an experiment. Like the adventure Rita and I had 5 years ago. It yields results far beyond that, what anyone had anticipated. Yes, the bubble universe. In today's experiment, you've done all you can to ensure that the bubble universe inside me will remain intact under all circumstances. So from my point of view, all the unacceptable risks have already been eliminated. Overseer, I'll be back soon. Have a good journey. Alright. Without any hesitation, the girl stepped into the wormhole, linking the different dimensions. Behind her, the overseer's expression looked simultaneously gratified, and melancholy. For the past 10 years, you made this extraordinary journey possible. Bianca Takena. Nagamitsu. What is it, Mr. Otto? If we can use a genius device to receive the data collected by Durandal, our experiment will be a success. As for whether she can restore the link between the bubble universe and the imaginary tree with her own power, well, you understand, that isn't critical for our plans. I need to be able to fold, cut, and reconstruct the power-based reality. The fate of the bubble universe has little effect on that. So you're saying if Durandal spends too long in the imaginary tree, we'll just initiate a forced recall with a genius device. Of course, we don't have any other way of communicating with her in real time. She understands that we can't wait for her indefinitely. But there's no need to be pessimistic. After all, didn't you give her some help? I've been found out, but I was just testing the waters. How should I know whether it would really work? It will work. You should know that the other side is also made up of excellent Valkyries who were once under my command. Okay, that explains how we're going to run into certain people. So I remember I heard that in this she's going to be running into, I think it's Shigota Kira. Whoa. You're serious that this place is the origin of the universe and where all laws intertwine. Time means something very different here. Oh. No time to... Let's go and switch up a little bit here. We got Rita. Let Rita do some dance. Let Rita do some, have some fun. No, not right now, Durandal. Oh, had to switch back to her. The hell? In seemingly boundless empty space, the girl had to rely on her genius device to find the way. 42,768 steps. 42,769 steps. The girl felt that as soon as she stopped counting, time gradually began to lose all meaning in this place. 61,293, 61,294. Durandal probably walked the distance of a marathon, yet she did not feel any fatigue. There was still nothing but emptiness in every direction. She began to feel anxiety creeping up on her. She was worried about the reliability of the plan, and wondered if the space-time asymmetry would cause anything to lose its meaning. The girl took deep breaths, regulating her heartbeat and expelling all unwanted thoughts from her consciousness. Although what surrounded the girl would be more accurately be described as the ether rather than the air. She didn't need to breathe to stay alive. She heard a faint, indistinct sound coming from far away, in the same direction that Genius was leading her. Well, to be precise, this space had no medium through which sound could pass, so noise must have manifested itself directly in her brain. She could not make out what was being said, but at the end, she was sure she heard something calling her name. Whatever it was, it recognized her. Okay, and see we're moving on to the next part of this. Yep. You really came. Not long before, the girl and her companion had arrived at the designated location, perplexed as to why they had been led here. The location data had been transmitted to the ether via a mysterious signal. The message was clear. Bianca Degena would appear here, carrying the bubble universe. Who made this prediction? What was their purpose? The girl and her companion had no idea. It was clearly not Bianca's or Rita's prediction. The message even stated that it would be a surprise for the Valkyries. Was it transmitted by the Schicksal Overseer? No. Otto would never use this kind of method. He liked to be in control of the situation. And then, could it have been sent by the residents of the bubble universe? This was even more unlikely. They had naturally lost connection with the imaginary tree, and thus didn't have the capability to send messages to this place. The visitors from base reality were getting closer. There was a characteristic radiation of a living organism here, and only one possibility for what was emitting it. Hey, old partner. Bianca. Can you hear me, Bianca? It's me, Shigota Kira. I'm here. Both Shigota Kira and Nigarath are here. She couldn't help but laugh. Her partner had good intuition, but she didn't need any warnings from her. Just as 7 colors combined from both black paint and white light, all possible of manifesting simultaneously can form the void of empty space. But when potential manifest beings interact, the original void will transform into something else. Welcome to the spiritual realm of the sugars, the candy house. In our language, you can call us brown sugar and crystal sugar. Hey, Nigarath, that's not how you greet old friends. Hi, Bianca. It's good to see you again. Did our presence here startle you? I really was expecting to run into you here, Shigota Kira. And you, Miss Nigarath. Sorry I don't understand how extraterrestrial beings typically develop. Hey, it was only this year that I grew into this form. It's all Kira's fault. Thinking that my dormant state was my final form. Hey, I'm still stronger than your species, whose natural instinct is to play dead. Looks like you two get along great. We get along okay. Our relationship has its ups and downs. We took the history here. But we go way back. Past events always have past causes. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. 2 weeks ago, we received a message that contained a prediction. The message said you would arrive here at this moment. Huh? Someone was telling us that you would come here today and attempt to link a bubble universe to the imaginary tree. Yes, as part of the Overseer's experiment. Did you come here just to wait for us? Of course. We've learned how to make use of the imaginary tree, to a certain extent. We can transform the dimension in which we exist. What do you mean by we? Oh, 2 years ago she passed Competo's exam and officially joined the Sugars. When that bubble universe entered your body, Dr. Schrodinger returned to the Sea of Quanta, and Kira was launched into a dimension within the imaginary tree by an energy fluctuation. Maybe it was just good luck, or maybe it was predestined. Before our souls were torn to fragments by the void, we passed by the candy house that saved us. The candy house is not only the home of the Sugars, but also a sanctuary made out of a bubble universe. Whenever the Sugars face a crisis, they re-establish a link with the imaginary tree and switch to a different dimension. Because the candy house is such a small bubble universe, when we alter the link to the imaginary tree, we do not suffer the effects of all kinds of fluctuations. So, such things have been done before. But Bianca, the explanation of the Sugars is that the bubble universe inside you, I'm afraid the potential to cause problems is many orders of magnitude higher than that of the candy house. Why? It's mainly a problem of scale. As far as we know, there are 2 ways to prolong the existence of a bubble universe. Through brute force, or by using a workaround. The brute force method involves continuously pulling in energy from the outside to counter the natural decay of the sea of quanta. When using this method, the bigger bubble universe, the better. The ratio of surface area to volume decreases with size. At a large enough scale, a universe will naturally achieve an energy balance. It will float around the sea of quanta indefinitely, almost indefinitely. Of course, the bubble universe absorbs too much Honkai energy using this method. It will cause other problems, like what you and Kira have seen in the past. I think I get it. So I'm guessing the sugars are the other method, the workaround? That's right. Once a dynamic link has been established with a imaginary tree, we use the tree's support to stop the decay process. This method works by deceiving the imaginary tree. We attach the target to another universe and hope it will be accepted as a newborn universe that needs support. It's like grafting a branch into a tree. The bigger the branch, the more difficult it is to successfully attach. Therefore, when using this method, the smaller the bubble universe, the better. So it sounds like the two methods are basically opposites. Yeah, and as Dr. Schroeder would say, the bubble universe in your body was originally designed using the brute force method, together with the Selene's prototype system that eliminated excess Honkai energy. Unfortunately, because Honkai energy would corrode the ether anchor, it needed to be anchored within your body to prevent it from disintegrating. Now we want to change course and switch the workaround method. We just need to do a large amount of calculations to work out the details. That means, Durandal, that blade of yours that is autonomous, the holy blade that has maintained the stability of the bubble universe, as well as connection to me. It's just that we never see. It's just that ever since we were separated, I've never been able to establish any form of communication with it. I can sense that it's working strenuously somewhere on the other side of the world. But besides that, I can't tell you much about it. I see. Then I guess we only have one option. You mean using the power of the sugar key? Otherwise, how can we establish communications across the inversion anchor? Although I do feel sorry for Competto, we must do whatever is necessary. He spent decades of his life trying to get that. He spent decades of his life getting that thing fixed. We better be careful when we use it. What are you guys talking about? Sugar key is an ancient relic passed down among the sugars. It was once used to make the candy house itself. Let me hide and see. Oh, it looks like it could be a weapon. Competto said that years ago, a certain human gave it a name similar to Schicksal's divine keys. He called it the Key of Beyond. The Key of the Beyond. That was the guy who betrayed us and damaged the key. It's that kind of human scum that made it necessary for Kira to go through a 3-year observation period before she could join the sugars. Humans can indeed be very complicated. I often struggle to understand what other people are thinking. I really want to get Rita's help, but usually she just gives an answer like, "Don't worry about it. It'll be fine." Actually, this makes you more trustworthy in the eyes of the sugars. I'm going to begin preparation for using the sugar key. I'll leave you two to catch up for a while. Thank you, Nigoroth. No need to be so polite. I'm sure that in a while we'll be arguing again. Okay. Nigoroth. Nigoroth would be compatible with Blade Durandal. I think so too. Speaking of which, Bianca, you've grown a lot taller, and it seems you're also more sure of yourself. You could also say I've become more stubborn. In Chickasaw, I don't exactly have the reputation of being easygoing. No way. Why do I feel like you've seen the most? Why do I seem like Why do I feel like you're the most laid back? Although when you're on business, I also get the sense you're very opinionated. You said it yourself. It's the same when it comes to working with S-rank Valkyries. If I could choose who to work with, it would be someone like Rita. Wow, you are both S-rank Valkyries now? Just like Cecilia and Teresa back then. I won't go that far. And besides, what is it? Something embarrassing? It's nothing actually. About 3 years ago, the Overseer granted me the right to use the Abyss Flower. Wow, you mean Cecilia's Abyss Flower? You deserve it, Bianca. Great job. Thanks. But I just feel like I'm borrowing it from Cecilia. Even though Divine Key is Divine Key, and it's not something just anyone can wield, I've always felt that the weapon was still connected to Cecilia somehow. Yeah, I think that's normal. Before her, it had been a long time since someone had the power to control the Abyss Flower. But you know what? Even for Cecilia, becoming the owner of the Abyss Flower put her under a lot of pressure. Why? Wasn't she highly compatible with it? Well, purely in terms of adaptability, I think it might be better than Cecilia. I've been corrupted by it before, so I know what I'm talking about. Listen, Bianca, the problems Master Cecilia faced at the beginning, were identical to yours, but just the opposite. Identical, but just the opposite? What does that mean? I guess the Overseer never mentioned it to you. Before Cecilia, several owners of the Abyss Flower were all expelled from Chickasaw for various reasons. Then, maybe you're aware that the Abyss Flower was pulled out of the North Atlantic in the 1970s. This event was directly related to Dr. Schrodinger's past. Are you talking about her betrayal of Chickasaw? Rhea told me about that. That year when she said Overseer Otto was her mortal enemy, I think everyone believed it. Did you know the strongest Valkyrie at the time, the ruler of the Abyss Flower, joined Anti-Entropy, and then it led to her death? That was when the Abyss Flower sank into the ocean. You've heard that Valkyrie's name before. She was called Rihanna. That's right. The name was Dr. Schrodinger's middle name. She took the name of the one who saved her. It was a small world. It's a small world, Bianca. Although ordinary Valkyries know nothing about this. In those days, becoming the owner of the Abyss Flower wasn't something taken lightly. To tell the truth, some of the more superstitious Valkyries consider it unlucky to this day. But in hindsight, everyone thought the Abyss Flower was a symbol of Master Cecilia, right? That's because Cecilia was so charismatic. No, it wasn't that, Bianca. Even though I consider myself a huge fan of Cecilia. Objectively, the Abyss Flower was only the symbol because she owned it for such a long time. Cecilia told me that. She always felt a kind of distance between her and the Abyss Flower. And it wasn't just because of its reputation. Actually, she felt that way because she revered history, like the attitude the Caslans have towards Judgment of Shamash. So, although you are coming from a very different starting point, your attitude towards it is not so different from hers. I see. That's really interesting. Kira, you're like an older sister to me. Huh? What we just talked about, I wouldn't find it interesting to discuss with Rita, and I wouldn't want to bring it up with the overseer. I feel like it's something I can truly only discuss with you. Stop it. You're making me blush. Now that you mention it, we've been chatting for quite a while. Nigarath, are preparations also almost complete? Sorry guys, it seems I've slightly messed things up. Or maybe it's just a bug in the program. A bug? The details aren't important, but basically we've attracted some so-called imaginary constructs to the outside of the candy house. I need some help dealing with this, Bianca. If they are able to infiltrate the candy house, it'll be a problem. Got it. So I just need to eliminate the enemies. I like this kind of straightforward approach to problems. Line after line of alien text rolling across the screen of Nigarath's control console. It looks like she was running in some other complicated programs. Thank you. That was a tough battle, but I'm afraid you have to wait a bit longer. Due to concerns about the stability of our communications channel, they chose to deal with some issues first before we establish communications. They? Are you talking about Blade Durandal? Have you already made contact? Yes, with the AI. Yes, the AI is currently receiving the. Yes, the AI is currently receiving the temporary link to a bubble universe broadcast by the short key, so it can't switch to a human form. Understood. I'll just use the time to get in the right frame of mind. I mean, prepare myself psychologically. Anyway, I'm really grateful for this opportunity today. Hey, why are you being so modest? A friend of Kira's a friend of mine here. A friend of Kira's is a friend of mine. Huh? Wait a second. Ah, excellent. Wow, that worked perfectly. What happened? Success! It is received and implemented the connection protocol. There's no time to lose. Let's try to communicate. Ah, hold on. Testing. Testing. Bianca, do you read me? If you do, please reply. Loud and clear. I hear you loud and clear. Holy Blade Durandal. Ah, it's been years. You were a girl back then. Now you're a young woman. Wonderful. Wonderful. What organisms now? Looks like you have nice proportions. Hey! As soon as you establish communication, you say that. As soon as you establish communication, you say that kind of crap. Kira's still here. Ah, sounds like Rita isn't there then. Yeah, but don't worry. She's done well these past few years. This is that she isn't physically suited for getting close to the imaginary tree. So she's not with me today. Actually, just the fact that you were able to reach this dimension with their help is impressive. But how do I put this? I'm pretty impressive myself. I finished all my important work, so I have time to chat with you. Huh? You're done with your work? I thought you were just about to start the critical phase. That's the power of a computer processor. I can do things at a speed you can't even imagine. But since this thing can be done perfectly, I'm afraid after today, I won't get much of a chance to come out and get fresh air. So I might lend out part of me. What do you mean lend out part of you? Are you talking about the gems you're made of? Ah, my fault. Sometimes my brain runs faster than my mouth. Well, in machine form, I guess I don't really have a mouth. Enough of the jokes. We likely have limited time to interact with like this. You better let me analyze the whole situation again. Hold on. Oh yeah. Well. Okay. This lower right image is actually from the 4.4 trailer. I remember. After operating for several years, I gradually became aware that the crisis in that bubble universe originated when it was born. 5,000 years ago, to ward off the Honkai threat, humans were trying to discharge Honkai energy into a bubble universe in the Sea of Quanta. But as the Heretics destroyed their research center on the Mu continent, they were unable to implement their plan. Luckily, the ether anchor on the artificial bubble universe wasn't changed. Humans then tried to return the place they had been using as a garbage dump into a refuge that could be inhabited by humans. That's the way we see it today. While the project of turning the bubble universe into a sanctuary was somewhat successful, the equipment from when it was a garbage dump had to be left in place. In the hands of a madman, this hidden experiment created a devastating tragedy. Since then, the history of that world has been nothing more than a desperate struggle to survive. Bianca, when you went on your expedition to that world, you not only sealed the fate of the madman, but also took responsibility for saving the world from collapse. Just as Nigoroth announced predicted, the dimensions of the bubble universe hindered its reattachment to the imaginary tree. Its inversion timeline still has to be anchored on a stable negentropy system. To put it simply, time has no way to complete. There is no way to complete the mission at this time. That's okay. I prepare myself for this. Everything will be like it was, right? I'm afraid not. Eh? Although my responsibilities haven't changed, now you can share the burden that you once carried alone, Bianca. Do you mean? Come, I'll give you temporary access to the sugar key so you can experience it for yourself. The girl nodded her head. Countless streams of data suddenly began pouring into her mind. For an instant, she understood what the overseer meant when he said, a consciousness so enormous that it defied common sense. But like what the overseer said about the Honkai persona, this consciousness seemed to fill her mind with warmth and nostalgia, like a birthday candle lit for her on New Year's Eve. Ooh, the gems. Ooh. Calm yourself. Resting place of the universe. I am space-time itself, the source of the power that destroys all. My role is to obliterate all universes. The girl felt a power flowing through her body. Ah, yes, this is from that time. 5 years earlier, she had used this power to cut through layered space, cutting a manifold that supported an entire continent free from the bubble universe. In those 5 years, this power had been lying dormant, not in base reality, but in a strange dimension within her body. In terms of fighting capability, the girl had already possessed the Abyss Flower. The girl who already possessed the Abyss Flower didn't need assistance from the Holy Blade, but his name she now went by demonstrated. The Holy Blade Randall had become a symbol of her life as a Valkyrie. Now, after extracting my core, you can transfer the duty of protecting this world to any of your reliable colleagues. This way, more people can share the burden, right? Well, strictly speaking, only one person at a time can assume the responsibility. But now you can take turns. Through studying technologies that mimic the sugar key, I can now serve as an intermediary and establish an indirect link between the bubble universe and the imaginary tree. Although there is currently no way to realize our ultimate goal of an independent bubble universe, we don't need to rely on your body to protect the world anymore. Also, I've calibrated Samara for you. That way, after you give my core to someone else, you will still be able to use the power of the astral harness for a short time. Huh. That means the astral harness didn't just disappear. That's right. Ultimately, the astral harness relies not on any particular bubble universe, but on the power of the Sea of Quanta itself. But aside from these high-tech devices, where did that thing called Samara come from? I want to find another one that I can use myself. In your database, do you have a record for the hero named Sue? From the previous era? Sue? He was one who entrusted Samara to me.
Okay. I did not know that.
He said he once spent several thousand years implementing something called Project Veluca. The development of parallel universes was observed in hopes of finding another way to counter Honkai. I see. Although I don't have information about that, if a person like that was willing to transfer Samara to you, he must have found the answer he was looking for, right? It seems so. He said in the end, Project Veluca finally found the answer. Finally found the only answer. But he wouldn't tell me any details. I gave the information he left behind to the overseer, but he wouldn't tell me anything either. That's very interesting. Huh? Have you guessed what it is, Durandal? No, I have no idea. It's the fact that I don't know what makes it so interesting. Isn't it also this way for humans? I can only say that you have some strange ideas about humanity. Aha! I am not an organic form like you. Some understand things are normal. It's what makes us unique. What happened? Okay. I just saw a spider crawling out of my glasses. I'm getting a warning. In 5 minutes, the status link between the Bubble Universe and the Imaginary Tree may become unstable due to a chaos phenomenon. To ensure there are enough resources to respond, in the next 3 minutes, I must go manually control some programs. I guess that means our time is over. Yup. Yes. It's a shame there's a lot that we need to talk about. Who won the Jigsaw Championship? What about the end? And what about the anti-entropy trophy? You care about this? You've never seen a soccer game in your life. So what? Hearing you talk about things unrelated to Honkai is the greatest joy for me. Ah, I get it. Well, thanks. Miss Bianca's embarrassed. So cute. Well, I really have to go now. Though in the future, people may have to sacrifice their lives, I believe that Pioneer has found the only answer. I hope everyone continues to have faith in the world, their colleagues, and themselves. Time will prove them right. Until we meet again, how do I give my physical form to you for safekeeping? The signal disappeared. Yeah. Well, definitely be able to meet again, right? We'll definitely be able to meet again, right? It's good to be optimistic, though. It's good to be optimistic, though I have a feeling that those people from the previous era are kind of scary. In the beginning, Dr. Sue also threatened to lock me into the Bubble Universe. Sounded like that was a bluff. That kind of person wouldn't change their opinion of you so quickly. The Niggeroth. Where do you get the feeling those people are scary? I'm not sure. Huh? It's just a feeling. I thought it was better to tell you. Thanks. When it's time to meet my fate, I will not back down. At least now I don't have to shoulder my burden alone. Hey, maybe it's not so good to say that. That's exactly the way Cecilia thought about it. For example, I really don't want that sword of yours. You hold on to it. I don't want a flood of random thoughts coming into my brain. I didn't mean it like that. Sorry. Didn't mean to stress you out. I just got a little excited. You don't need to apologize. Luckily, you spazzed Niggeroth. And your skill as a Valkyrie. I trust your judgment. Well, however you say it, the important thing is to get the message across, right? Bianca knows that Kira is worried. Kira knows Bianca can behave herself. No need to dwell on apologies. The Sugars do not advocate such a thing. You're right. Just call us any time you need help, Bianca. Okay. I'll remember not to be so polite next time. I guess that's it. The Bubble Universe mission has entered a new phase, and we each have many more missions to complete. Since we can say that this experiment has come to an end, I guess I'll start up the genius device. Leaving so soon? Won't you sit down for a while and have some dessert? Bianca's always like this. She really gives her time to relax. Herself time to relax. We don't need formal etiquette to understand each other. She's always said to have this approach to life. Thanks for understanding, Kira. Hope to see both of you again. Yeah. Next time, remember to treat me to a chocolate buffet. That's not enough. Let's go sing karaoke. Then forget it. I'm too self-conscious. Her signals completely disappear from the space. Something that can be inferred from her calculations that you didn't bring up. I'm not sure you will have an opportunity to meet again. It wasn't the right moment. Besides, I think in some ways, she is definitely different from Cecilia. She doesn't need our help to awaken her power. Although the road ahead may be difficult, she'll be difficult. She and Rita will do what they've always done. Find a solution. It'll be alright. Alright. Is that it? I'm guessing that's it. Alright. Yeah. Okay. Time to collect the rewards. Alright. Next part is going to be unlocked on the 15th. Let's go ahead and read this part here. Eesh. My name is Elizabeth McSmith. Nothing special about it. When I was named, my dad didn't give it a thought. Why does her name really have to be special? Isn't Beth cute? However happy my dad is with his name, it's rarely used now. For reasons I can't blame on others, people now call me by an exotic Far Eastern name, Nagamitsu. Not that I'm remotely connected to the Far East. It all started 5 years ago. Excuse me. Is this the St. 1504 lab of Nagamitsu the 17th? Yes, I'm the director here. Are you Miss Atagena? Can I call you Nagamitsu? Huh? Sorry. Did I make a mistake? The youngest A-rank Valkyrie in history made a huge mistake. Nagamitsu the 17th was simply part of the lab name. Some sort of ancient legacy. In the year 1504, a bladesmith from the Far East set up a workshop at Chickasaw. Later on, the workshop turned into a design institute and then a lab. History. The Nagamitsu name refused to die and stuck with it. Would you say the original Nagamitsu workshop has seen 16 different masters or directors to become the lab it is now, and in no way is the name associated with Elizabeth McSmith. Of course, she could have clarified it, but she didn't bother. So she answered like this. No, don't mind me. Sure, Nagamitsu. Maybe it was because people found it interesting. Maybe because Elizabeth Smith sounded a mouthful. Or maybe it was too hard to tell the 6 Smiths and 3 Elizabeths apart of the HQ. Anyway, Nagamitsu became my new name that day. But that's not the point. At least back then, my attention wasn't on the name at all. The overseer said if there was a place where the previous era relic could be taken out from me, it had to be this lab. I understood immediately. Mr. Palka sent me another test subject that he had lost interest in. The naive me thought this was just a simple case of something being left accidentally in her body. So I assured her and arranged a full set of examinations. Of course, test results hit me hard the very instant that I got my hands on them. It's way beyond the reach of any medical measures. X-ray, ultrasonic, MRI, they all returned no anomaly. No sign of Honkai energy leak either. The trying lasted for half a year, until one day, out of despair, I tried measuring neutrino radiation on her. And I was shocked to find her body was emitting more neutrinos per second than 10 nuclear power plants. Unless there was a black hole in her heart or on her belly button, I had to admit the impossible. A huge and stable space was somehow folded up inside her body. Great. The bulb universe began to stabilize after the inversion. Finally, there's a way to find out. Thank you. From that day on, this passionate girl became a frequent visitor of the lab. She cared more about her inner neutrino radiation than her body measurements. Time passed on. I heard a lot of bizarre stories about another world from her. Shakespeare, the submarine piloting pirate. Thoreau, the founder of the Republic of South American Aboriginals.
Uh-oh. I better move. There's, whatchamacallit? I really have to move. There's, what is it? Sprinklers going off, and they're too close. Okay, where was I? Hold on, let me get out of the way of the sprinkler.
Watt, the brain computer interface engineer. Hold on, folks. I got to witness her fiery passion become deeper, more intense, but also more reserved as her age grew. For the Schicksal rookies, it was impossible to imagine the silent, calm Valkyrie Durandal had a heart that burned brighter than the Nakamitsu. How many regular checks have I done? Do you have the statistics? Should be on the computer. Let me see. This will be the 216th time. The cube with the number 6. You're still so sensitive about the mathematical properties of numbers. I still remember when you... about that. Yeah. You were trying to explain why a heptagon could be drawn out with rulers and compasses. Thinking back now, I'll just dig a hole and bury myself in. That was so late for making a conversation. But to me, it was a pretty good memory. At least, it was unique, right? I like that outfit. You're the one that's truly unique. Bianca Durandal Atakina. I know it sounds absurd saying this from where I stand, but I do wish to keep supporting you until the day your dream comes true. Till the day you find yourself a new dream. I guess I don't like it. I don't like the Valkyrie. I like the Valkyries. I'm essentially a bad person. No. No, you're not. No, you're not Nagamitsu. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this video. Gonna be when the next part opens up in a few days. Is it a few days? 10/15. Oh, next month. Yeah. Next is gonna open up next month. So until then, this is Little Jazz saying thank you all for watching. Take care of yourselves.